You've been laid off. Now what do we do? This is a how-to guide for corporate professionals addressing this critical topic that maybe since you've clicked to listen to this podcast or watch this video on YouTube, you have been faced with layoffs or you are getting ready for maybe that happening to you in the future. There are quite a few industries right now undergoing significant changes and job cuts, so many of you might find yourselves without work. My goal today is to discuss the current layoff trends, revisit some of our best advice from previous episodes, and then expand on each topic as to why I think the information is important and relevant to you and you should pay attention to it based on facts that I gather from clients of mine. And I will also want to introduce some new strategies to help you navigate this challenging time, things that has been on my mind that I want to share with my audience. I want to most specifically explain some of the data that I have found through the combined, amalgamated, analysis that I've been doing with client information with the purpose of helping you get this job of yours as soon as possible and get you your duration of your unemployment as, as short as possible. I hope this episode can educate you on what the next steps should be. I know sometimes it's hard to know where to start and what to focus on your attention on. So if you're navigating these next steps, then this episode is definitely for you. Let's do this. Hi, I'm Renata Bernardi, and this is the Job Hunting Podcast, where I interview experts and professionals and discuss issues that are important for job hunters and those who are working to advance their careers. So make sure that you subscribe and follow, and let's dive right in. First, I want to talk to you about the current trends in unemployment as we record this episode, which is around end of May 2024. Let's look at the layoff trends that we're seeing now. In the United States, it has been happening for over 12 months now. Tech sector, most specifically, has been the hardest one hit. Many thousands of employees have been laid off from hundreds of companies in the tech world. Especially in the first quarter of this year, we have still seen quite a lot of layoffs. Major tech companies like Google and Amazon and Meta still announcing layoffs, adjusting their workforce post-pandemic due to overexpansion or changes in their structures, which is normal at any time, but right now it seems it's all happening all at once. Other sectors as well, like finance, healthcare, retail, tend to get really caught up in the political cycle of elections, of wait and see who is going to win, consumer sentiment and recession. And usually election years are years where we tend to see the job market, not being favorable to people looking for work. And that's normal, and we just need to adjust our expectations to that. In Australia, sectors like retail and manufacturing have seen job cuts. Companies are restructuring, they are improving efficiencies and adapting to changing market demands, adapting to international market demands as well, since Australia tends to be very much have a domino effect of what's happening overseas. We also see Telstra, our biggest telco company here, announcing thousands of jobs will be made redundant before the end of the year, and that has really rocked us this week. In the UK, which is my third biggest market, not just for the podcast, but for my clients, is, experiencing some interesting times with today, as we record this episode, the election being announced way earlier than expected, but lots of job cuts happening, digital services struggling, that post-pandemic overhiring that's now sort of readjusting, but then the election has been announced, so that will really make waves and make a difference to the job market. Maybe the announcements of layoffs will stop until they figure out who is going to be in government, which is something that organizations tend to do at times like this. I think that understanding these trends are really crucial, and having this sort of understanding of the macro effect of the economy and how it affects the micro effect of your life and your career is really important. Whenever you're thinking about job searching, the duration of your job search, and finding work and what types of works are available, you need to think about that sort of macro level, strategic level, what's happening around the world. For example, what does it mean if you are in tech? There's a shift in the industry. You might need to reskill for the next wave of roles that will be eventually advertised or are already being advertised. You have to look at your geography, what else is available near you, consider making changes, or do you want to make changes to your career trajectory, get out of tech or transfer your skills to another sector. You might need to consider being ready for a more prolonged search, adjusting your budget, your expectations in terms of the type of employment that you're going to get. It could be that you need to look for a short-term contract for the time being, which is one way that employers get jobs done when they have a freeze in hiring, but they still have a budget line to hire freelancers and contractors to come in and help them with work. So let's start by revisiting some of the past advice that you may have listened on this podcast before. If you're new, you can listen now, you can click subscribe, but let's revisit some of that valuable advice from previous episodes and why they're still effective today. And I want to give you some data about it. First of all, networking. This is a fact, everyone. My clients that have networked since the end of last year, they have done better than the ones that have not networked. Networking is always crucial, but even more so when you're between jobs in difficult and challenging times like right now. Reaching out to former colleagues, attending industry events, making sure your LinkedIn profile is up to date. All of that networking tasks that you do can open doors to unadvertised opportunities and provide support during your job search. Attending virtual events and in-person networking events and industry fairs, all of that is important. These events can connect you with potential employers and industry professionals. They can give you direct access to peers, colleagues, former bosses, recruiters, and so on. Some people are a bit afraid and find it a bit awkward to go to these events when they are unemployed. But once you're there, it's fine. All my clients that have attended events really valued attending those events and saw the amazing opportunities and the expansion of opportunities that happened to them. You can find out about them online. You can join professional groups, attend virtual networking events, reconnect with your university alumni. These connections are really crucial. They give you leads and referrals and ideas as well about what you can do next. And the whole point here is to shorten your job search. So seek out for those events and find the free ones. I know that government, industry associations, chambers of commerce, they do have free events as well if you're not in a position to invest in paid conferences at the moment. The other thing that I want to talk to you about that we've discussed before is skill development. Clients who use their job search time to mix job applications with skill development, they do better. Using this time to upskill or reskill to crystallize the learnings from your previous employment is really beneficial. So there are online platforms that offer free, affordable courses. There is no better time to do that than now. You want to crystallize those learnings, not so much to show a bunch of certifications on your LinkedIn profile or resume. You don't even need to do that. You just need to know what to say and how to express yourself when it comes to explaining the work that you've done in project management, in agile, in whatever it is that you have done that requires you to speak confidently about it. Then there is mental health. And there is another fact here. Clients who have adopted mindfulness practices like breath work, meditation, exercise, they do better in their job search. It is what it is, everybody. It's data that I'm sharing here with you, and I hope to present that in a report format sometime in the future. But for now, just know that stress of a layoff can really take a toll on your mental health and your ability to look for work. So it's essential to acknowledge that that may have been happening to you or may happen in the future and adopt mindfulness practices. They could be just physical exercise to deal with the fight and flight. It could be downloading an app like Headspace or Calm to go through guided meditations. Whether it's a daily walk, a workout, you need to boost your energy and boost your mood so you present well at job interviews and you deal well with the failures and the bumps along the road that come with recruitment and selection. I need to talk to you about financial planning because I know that clients that don't worry so much about money do better in the job search. It's just one less stressor that you don't want to have. So managing your finances carefully during that period of unemployment is really crucial. And this could mean creating a different budget for this time, understanding your severance package and how to use it, exploring unemployment benefits. So many people forget to do that, and getting the financial help that you need to withstand this period of time. It's not going to last forever, everybody. It's something that is finite and you need to plan for it and get the help and support that you need. And that could mean making some adjustments for this time as well. Then we need to look at new strategies moving forward. Some things that I have been thinking of that I may not have explained so much in previous episodes, but I want to do this now. First of all, I want to talk a little bit about personal branding from a different perspective. Because personal branding is very important. You need to build that strong personal brand as you look for work. This means having a professional online presence and showcasing your skills and your achievements. The problem is some of you don't know what your personal brand is, don't know what your strengths are. So if you're struggling to understand your brand, start by taking a step back and do a strengths assessment test, like Talent Predicts, which is the one I have available on my website. It's so often overlooked, but it's so effective if you know what your strengths are, what your values are, and the report really helps you speak confidently about them. You know, not everybody needs to build a personal brand by regularly posting on LinkedIn and writing articles or writing blogs. That's not the point. The point is building a brand where you know what you're good at and you can talk about it when you're pitching yourself for a job, when you're talking to a recruiter or a network person, somebody in your network. So a combination of doing Talent Predicts and that assessment, that reflection, maybe booking a consultation with me if you want to expand on what Talent Predicts is suggesting, but I think that the report itself is so useful and so easy to understand. It will deal with most of the blocks that people have about talking about themselves. The other thing I want to talk to you about is freelancing and gig work. I want you to consider freelancing, contract work, short-term opportunities, because that's what's available to many employers who need you. They may not be able to hire you permanently, at least not yet, but they may have the budget line to hire you for a short period of time. And many of my clients have engaged with, 3 months, 4-month contracts, and then moved on to more permanent roles once the hiring freeze ends, once the situation turns around, which can take a few months. It could be just a matter of not having the budget in this financial year, but having it in the next financial year. And then there's career pivoting. This might be the perfect time for you to career pivot. If that's something you've been dreaming about, thinking about, considering, if your industry isn't hiring, and if it's hard for you to even consider upskilling, reskilling in a career that you have already invested so much time in, but maybe you don't have the same mojo or energy for it anymore, then think about transferable skills, roles in different industries and sectors, moving somewhere else. What is it that you dream of doing? It might mean engaging with a coach before taking those big risky next steps and having conversations with people, being mentored by people. But I think it's important for you to consider at this time you're at a crossroad, you might as well make the most of it. I'm analyzing a lot of data from years of working with professionals. And often what I have found is that they don't reach out to me as soon as they should. They reach out to me after many months of trying to DIY their job search. And I'd say that most people come to me after the average duration of unemployment has surpassed. So, for example, if, let's say, the national average is 3 months, and they thought that 3 months was the time that they would be unemployed, then they will reach out to me after 4, 6, 8, 10 months. And that is such a pity. And I know why that happens, and I want to explain that to you. There's something called an optimism bias, and that plays a role in how we make decisions. Even if you consider yourself a pessimist or a realist, we all have optimism bias built inside us. It's a cognitive bias that causes us to believe that we are less likely to experience negative events than other people, and we're more likely to experience positive outcomes compared to other people. This bias can lead people to underestimate risks and overestimate their ability to control outcomes. It's very common. It's a psychological phenomenon that makes us more optimistic in regards to how we lead our lives, how we raise our kids, about our marriage, about our work, about our unemployment, about building a house or renovating a house and how much we spend. And it does affect your job search. We underestimate job search duration all the time. Many job seekers believe that finding a new job will be quicker and easier for them than it is for other people. They might assume that because they have the skills and the experience in that network, it will lead them to swiftly being employed again. They don't recognize the complexities and the competitiveness of the job market. And that is a fact, and it happens to everyone, even to those who have great experience. You might think, I have strong resume, I have a great network, I should find a job in a few weeks. While the reality is that job search can take several months. So because of that optimism bias, people delay seeking my help, and they believe that they can handle the job search on their own effectively. The problem with that delay is that it prolongs the unemployment and increases their loss of income and the financial strain that they suffer during the duration of their unemployment. Let me give you a typical example that happens to me all the time. And if you're listening to this and you're thinking I'm talking about you because you spoke to me or you're my client, that's not true. Most people that come to me with more or less this sort of situation. They will come to me and they think they need a couple of weeks to get back on track. And then I don't hear from them for months. And then several months later, they reach out to me again. And, maybe it would be 7 months later, 10 months later. It happens to me all the time. By that time, what I see is a completely different person. A lot more stress, a lot more anxiety, and a lot less confidence in the way that they're presenting themselves. Even in a Zoom consultation, which is what I do, I can tell. And if I can tell, the recruiter can tell as well. Let's think of a professional that earns $150K per year. And that professional was laid off, and it's been 10 months since they've been job searching before they hire a coach. After engaging with a coach, they find a new job. Let's analyze the financial and the psychological benefits if this person had hired a coach, let's say on the 2nd month of unemployment instead of the 10th month. Look, this is just playing with numbers and assumptions here. I'm not saying that this is exactly what happens. Just want to give you an example. For example, the financial impact, the income loss. Without early coaching, 10 months of unemployment for that person leads to a loss of $125,000, assuming that there will be no other income during that period. If there was an early intervention with coaching that would minimize the job search, which is what I often do with my clients, that job loss could have been, $40,000, $50,000, way less, right? Even considering the investment in coaching, which could be anything between, 3, 4 figures, sometimes 5 figures, but low 5 figures for senior executives, the potential of you making more money sooner, getting a job sooner is amazing. It would be something along the lines of, 80,000 plus for somebody who has 150K salary as their target salary for their jobs. I also see a lot of people, especially after prolonged unemployment, looking for jobs paying less than the jobs they had before, which is a complete no-no for me. Usually we try to, if not get the same salary, always I aim for more salary because your career should be advancing and not going backwards, especially for the clients that I'm working with who are highly ambitious. Then there's the emotional benefits of working with a coach because there's reduced stress. You know that you can trust somebody. I mean, if you trust me or if you trust your coach, you know that they have a framework, that they have a structured way of supporting you, that they know how to go about this recruitment and selection process with expertise and with ease. The regular sessions with the coach are really motivational. You become more accountable. You have more realistic goals. You have the emotional support. You have more courage and confidence. You know, working with a coach can really enhance that self-confidence, especially if it's early in the process where you haven't really struggled too much. We can just boost on that and springboard on that confidence, improve the interview skills, improve the personal branding. It really helps you with everything from resume to LinkedIn to preparing for interviews and improving your chances of success. That's what we're trying to do as career coaches. I know that I am. I think what is also misunderstood is the fact that there's so much free information available, but with the tailored advice from a coach, it really helps you on finding your uniqueness and having that competitive advantage, becoming more unique in the way that you present yourself and not vanilla, which happens if you're getting information that's freely available online. I just worked with a client last night who was very lost with so much information that she didn't know what was applicable to her. So we sort of narrowed down on what was really important for her specific situation. In group coaching programs, which is rare to find, but I do run them, I find that there's an added benefit of an extensive network of professionals that can support you and help you and have coffees and make introductions that go above and beyond having my help as a coach. So the group is really instrumental in making the program, the group coaching program, have this added benefit and exponential learning that is more than what I could give as a private coach. So let's start wrapping it up. I think it's important to pay attention to the optimism bias because it can help you during job search for sure. Of course, you want to be positive and have high expectations for yourself, but you have to be aware of the fact that it can extend the duration and increase the financial and emotional cost of the unemployment for you because it will make you underestimate the challenges and delay seeking professional help. So just keep an eye on that and think about it. And if you start to think, oh, it's not going to happen to me, that's the optimism bias already playing up with you. Addressing optimism bias can really help job seekers navigate their job search more effectively by using it to their advantage and understanding when it's impacting them negatively. So please keep an eye on that. Engaging with a career coach like myself, and if you want to work with me, go to the show notes, find my website and have a look. It can really, really help reduce your unemployment period. That's what I do for a living. That's how I market myself. That's how I price myself. I want the potential benefits for you to be a reduction in months of job searching, weeks or months. You know, the most important thing for me is making the return on your investment in me pay off big time by bringing that job back to you, finding the right salary range for you, getting the right salary benefits and the right opportunities for you. This is so important to me as a coach. And I want that quick return for you for a higher paying job. Navigating layoffs can be super challenging, but I believe that with the right strategies and the right mindset, by talking about it with a coach or with other people, it can really be a great opportunity for you to grow, to identify new beginnings for you, new opportunities. Remember to leverage your network. Don't feel like you need to be ready and perfect to approach them because they will help you keep learning and they will help you take care of your mental health and open up your ideas to new opportunities you haven't thought of. Thank you so much for listening to me today, for your trust in my ideas and what I have to say. It really means the world to me that you're here listening. Stay positive, stay connected, keep moving forward, and listen to other episodes. And if the ideas that I shared with you today were interesting and you like them, check my website, renatabernardi.com. There's a link to it in the show notes. Review my services, see if there's anything there for you. If you learned something valuable today, don't forget to like this episode, rank this podcast, give it a 5-star review. It really means the world to me, and it helps us share this information with other professionals like you. We need to be better at helping each other, and talking about jobs and careers with ease and not being awkward about it. Both the highs and the lows. We have so much to share and learn from each other to have more success in our lives. We need to do that. Until next time, this is me, Renata Bernardi, on the Job Hunting Podcast. I'll see you soon.